Please welcome journalist and activist Stav Shaffir.
Hello, people. Hi, I'm very excited to be here. Until not very long ago, I was a journalist, living in Tel Aviv, which means working during the days, studying in the evenings, organizing demonstrations in my spare time, not hoping for much more than a good feeling of being alive, of having dreams. Because in Israel, demonstrations hadn't really worked. We would usually be just 200 to 500 people standing around with signs, shouting at some governmental building, with nothing actually happening. Like many Israelis, when I was 18, I decided to take a year off and volunteer in a school in Tiberias as a teacher, feeling that if we'll educate the younger generations, we will become a healthier society. But the kids I was attempting to teach were never given a chance to become healthier. Born to lower-class families, they were doomed to move at 6th grade to a technical school where they learned hair design and not art, physics, or languages. Only because of their parents' financial situation, something that became more and more widespread. Like most Israelis, I was recruited a year later to the military. Still carrying my dreams, I was among the first generation of women who got accepted to the pilot course, something that until then women were prevented from even applying to. Like most Israelis, when I left the military service after seeing one war and one disengagement process, I was supposed to get back to what people call normal life. But what is normal life? I never could really understand. I moved to London for my studies, but after 3 years, again, like most Israelis, I missed my country and wanted to come home. I knew that returning to Israel would be neither easy nor comfortable. Many of my best friends have already left the country for Berlin or New York. They had given up on their future in Israel. The lack of hope had reached them, not only politically, but also financially, and especially socially. But last summer, it all changed. We discovered hope again. It happened almost by accident. Together with a bunch of people that I met, guess what, on Facebook, we pitched tents on Rothschild Boulevard to protest the price of living, affordable housing. That's what we were talking about. And to our great surprise, thousands of people came. We insisted that people come without any partisan signs, no logo, no uniform, just come as you are, in order to create a space that is free of old politics, open for a new one. When our mayor came to the boulevard in the middle of the night, surrounded with cameras, of course, we could not accept his distant presence. We declared that whoever comes to the boulevard, regardless of their class, position, or color, must come as an equal citizen, sit with us in one of our discussion circles, and be part of it. That night was our first night of independence. For the first time in decades, we made ourselves free in our own country. It took only a few hours to build a vision. It was a Friday, so we did the obvious thing and made a Kabbalat Shabbat. We received donations of food from every restaurant in the area, invited our parents to join, and then after a few hours, we could build a kitchen that served 3 meals a day to thousands of people every day for months. Somebody came and built a cinema. Somebody else came and started a school, and then a kindergarten. It became a city within a city, a country within a country, and it was ours. People were sitting in discussion circles with other people they never met before. You could see the rich lady who lived at the top of the building on the boulevard together with a homeless person who lived on a bench there, sitting together, not knowing who belongs to what, but just being understanding that now, for the first time, we have to do this. A day after we pitched our tent, somebody called me and asked me if he could pitch a tent in Yafo. And I was like, of course you can pitch a tent, you don't need a permission. That was the idea. No need for a permission. Just do what you feel is good. And then a day later, we saw another tent in Haifa, and then another one in Beersheba. Within a month, we had 120 different tent camps around Israel. Soon we could already admit that this wasn't just a protest about the prices of housing, because housing is a symbol. It's a symbol for something that we miss. It's a symbol for an education system. It's a symbol for a health system. It's a symbol for a welfare system, for a good, open society. That day in July, we experienced the formation of the largest movement in the history of Israel, one that took hundreds of thousands of people to the streets every week, every Shabbat, in wonderful rallies, eventually bringing 500,000 people to the street to shout, "Ha'am doresh tzedek chevrati." The people demand social justice. 500,000 people. That's the highest number of protesters per capita in the whole world. Just imagine that. That is the equivalent of 19 million people in America marching on one night together for one cause. 19 million people. Our protest began at the very last minute, the last opportunity to change the direction our country has taken, leaving us, the young generation, behind. It came as a result of 30 long years shared by both left and right-wing government that reduced our social services one by one and broadened our lack of equality to the vastest extent it could go. This breach of our social security was an anti-Zionist decision, nothing less than that. Instead of working towards one society, one strong egalitarian society, it made our differences stronger and divided us, broke Israel into fragments and sectors. In Israel, it's like that. Tell me who your enemies are, and I'll tell you who you are. Jews against Arab, Mizrahi against Ashkenazi, religious people against secular. For years, the government hasn't listened to us, so we were just blaming each other. But that is now over. Today, for the first time, we don't look at our past with horror, but at our future, and with great hope. For the first time, we have no fear, only shining eyes that could stir down any threat. Sadly, there's always been those in government, left and right, who wish to compensate for the missing social cohesion by beating on the drums of war. Our external threats are big and dangerous, but we cannot build if we're still in hiding. We're not a bomb shelter. We have to defend not only our borders, but also our entity, our values, our most courageous dreams. And to do that, we have to build a system that takes care of people. For the first time in Israel's history, we realized the trick. We united. We came together, Jews and Arabs, Ashkenazi and Mizrahi, religious and secular, and fought for one vision. And I must tell you, the more we united, the more the system threatened us. If it's by evacuating our tents or arresting us again and again and again, it's like an old system that doesn't want to be changed. But we're here to stay, no matter what. When our grandparents came to the Middle East with their crazy, beautiful dream, they did it with great courage. And no matter how difficult this struggle will be, we must remember them and have no fear. Today, together with some of the most inspiring people that I've met, I'm spending days and nights traveling throughout the country, organizing communities and establishing the foundations for a long-lasting social movement. Sleep is not an option. Despair is not an option. We haven't got a lot of time, but we do have great dreams. And those dreams are our best weapon. Instead of running away from our enemies, let's walk together towards one beautiful and crazy dream for a new Israel, one that can soon come true. Thank you.